Covering topics of the day, from politics to pop culture, this is Soapbox Talk on Channel 104.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Weeby Ladigan edition of the Sunday Morning Soapbox. I am Uncle Rich.
Yes, it is a special New Year's Eve edition.
It is a special New Year's Eve edition.
It's not even New Year's Eve.
And we're actually talking about the top stories of 2013. Right? This is 2013.
That is the stories that happened after the supposed Mayan apocalypse.
Yes, the Mayan apocalypse. Yes. We
are very lucky to be alive today, Rich.
We are. We really are.
That was a close call last year.
Yeah. Hey, you know my Russian friend that I have told you a lot about? The one, you were teasing me about the Russian bride, but she's already married, so that's not going to happen.
Mm.
She lives in a city in Russia which had a big bombing this morning at a train station. I don't know if it's terrorist related, but it's...
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all over CNN. So I'm kind of worried about Natalia this morning. I'll have to send her a Facebook message later to make sure that she's okay. But our thoughts and prayers go out to them. You know, this whole terrorism thing just kind of stinks. It really does. It doesn't just kind of stink. It really does stink. I mean, they're ridiculous. Just ridiculous, the things that...
Yeah, and throughout the show, if any updates come up for the thing in Russia, we will let everybody know.
Yeah, we're on top of it with the My City Info desk, Russia, this morning. My City Info, Russia. Oh, boy. So, anyway, how was your Christmas?
My Christmas was good. I enjoyed myself, spent time with families, worked.
Uh-huh. And you went to the land of the Montgomerys and the Gentrys?
Yes, I went to Danville, Kentucky, spent Christmas Day there.
Yeah. And
that drove like a maniac getting there.
And it went and
drove 90 on I-75.
Oh, are you really
in an airplane?
Yeah, are you serious? Did he really?
Well, it was pretty close. We needed to get there quick because I was late getting off work because we were so busy.
Yeah. And so, did you get some nice presents? You got to see your mom. And your grandma. That's a nice enough present.
I got cologne.
Of course, everybody gets cologne.
I got
all the guys.
Man of Steel on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
I got We're the Millers. I love that movie.
Oh, that is hilarious. Yeah, that's every time I play Waterfalls on Jams 102. I see the kids doing that song in the RV. What a funny movie. That is such a freaking great movie, man. I tell you. Gotta love it.
Yeah, and Emma liked it. Emma rarely watches movies like that. You know, like with F-bombs every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Spiders crawling out of somebody's pants. But
yeah,
she loved the movie. I was surprised.
It's a great movie. I mean, it really is.
I was very surprised that she actually enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now I'm
going to have to show her The Hangover. She'll really like that one.
Yeah, she'll really like that one. Who did your dad get an X-rated film for this year? That's what I want to know. That's the big question. I have a niece. I'm sorry. I have a new mic that picks up... A new mic that was one of my Christmas gifts that picks up everything, and so I'm drinking coffee. But the other day I was cutting promos with it, some station promos, and I noticed you could, like, literally... It's so sensitive, you could, like, literally hear the smack of my tongue. And I was like, oh my, so I'm sitting here, now I'm thinking, oh my God, all these poor people are here, and it sounds like I'm slurping, and all I'm doing is I'm taking a drink.
Make sure your mic's turned off. Because
oh my God, Mark Sebastian used to do that on Q102 all the time. He'd take a drink, he'd go, like that. Yeah,
used to do that?
Mark Sebastian, an old DJ from Q102 that I used to work with years ago, here in Cincinnati. Yeah. Now, let's see.
But no, nobody got any, I don't know if anybody listened to the Big Show earlier this year, but Tasha, my sister, got Magic Mike for Christmas last year.
And at that time, how old was...
My dad didn't know it was about male strippers.
Yeah, and Tasha was like 17. And they were at Walmart.
No, she was 18.
But not when she got the...
No, she was 18. She turned 19 on her birthday this year.
Oh. Oops, yeah. Bad Uncle Rich. I could have sworn she was only 17 then, though. But anyway, so Taylor's out shopping at Walmart, and his dad says to him, hey, do you know a movie that Tasha might like? And Taylor's response, Magic Mike.
Because I knew what she would want, because she had mentioned that she wanted to see the movie, so I knew she would want it. So.
Imagine that. Tasha wanting to see Magic Mike. Clearly, Tasha is not Emma.
Every single woman in the world loves that movie for some reason. You watched it with your ex's family.
I did, and I
violated watching it.
I was with my ex-wife, and I thought she was going to pounce me, man. Like, not in a bad way, pounce me, but try to pounce me in a good way. And my sister-in-law was sitting in the room with us watching it at that time, so I was a little scared. My ex-wife we're still very close, and she still likes me a lot, and sometimes things happen, but she amazingly.
You're still waiting for that letter that you're gonna have to appear on Maury to take. I'm
gonna see her on New Year's Eve, and you know who else I'm gonna see on New Year's Eve? That's right, I'm gonna be there. I'm hosting the party. Guess what, dumb butt? They're turning over the reins of Jams 102 to me, the mama, and the sweener, and I'm proposing to sweener live on the radio all here in just a couple of days.
You gonna play Stroking, Sneed?
I'm gonna try, but I might have to sing me a few sweener and Sneed songs in there, like Rocky Top and my DIVORCE and let's see, what else could I pop?
Lightning.
Why? Oh yeah, that's my jam, man. That's my jam. I'll be kicking it Sneed style. I promise you that. Now there goes the listeners. Anyway, join Sneed.
But also, I got
Mary
Insidious
Lou.
Chapter 2 on DVD.
You got what?
Insidious Chapter 2.
Oh wow, that's odd.
Got a new jacket, new shoes. And I
needed some new shoes, man.
Phillips CD that I lost in the car in Vegas.
I personally want to thank, with a very heartfelt thank you to the person who got you some new shoes.
Well,
I didn't know if it was Taylor's shoes.
My shoes don't last very long. Reason.
Yeah, well, probably because you run around all the time and you're constantly freaking heaping ice cream into bowls and all that, and walking into that hardening room.
Yeah.
I probably should have. Good thing Robin's not with us today, because if I would have said that, I probably would have regretted it. But
yeah, well, be careful, because remember, Joe's still here. So
yeah. I'm gonna show everybody what I got on Monday's show. You're gonna show everybody what you got? Did you hear that, Taylor? He's gonna show everybody what he got on Monday's show. That ought to be good. Who got it for you? Sneeders. Sneed got it for you? Yes. All right, man, you're just making me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I was just trying to make you a chick magnet. I hope it works. Or is it maggot? Is it chick magnet or chip maggot? I don't know. I need to get some new help. Anyway, so it's Sunday morning version of Sunday Morning Soapbox. We do it for you every Sunday morning. And look, you know what? I really kind of got hammered last week on Facebook. And I apologize that I got so, and of course now Duck Dynasty is back. I don't know for how long though, because now the other people, just as I had predicted, are now like the NAACP, the organization GLAAD.
Why can't everybody just get along?
Everybody that hangs out at the local bar, they're all calling for this guy's. They're saying now they're boycotting A&E. So I know, why can't everybody get along? You know, my whole point wasn't, because I'm a spiritual person. My whole point was not necessarily this being about a spiritual. My preacher had to send me a post this week. Which pretty much summed up, but by another minister that pretty much backed up my feelings, which made me feel really good. So thank you, Todd. I appreciate that, and made me feel much better about where I stand on the whole issue. Is that we're all people, and God loves all people, and that everybody is valuable, a valuable person, and that is how I feel about it. I don't think gay people go to hell. I think God loves gay people just as much as anybody. Well, I shouldn't say that, but God loves gay people too. And I mean, my point was the remarks were just too much for me to handle. But apparently now there's a couple of sermons that are going around of this guy preaching, this Phil Robertson. So while I think Duck Dynasty may be here for now, I'm not thinking like it's going to be around too long, because A&E is
starting to sound more like Pat.
Who is?
Phil.
Oh yeah, he's starting to sound. Except for Pat likes to smoke pot, or thinks smoking pot is okay. I've never heard a Baptist preacher say that.
Also, Pat also makes these really weird predictions.
Yeah, like I wonder if him and Harold Camping hung out together.
I would imagine so. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that Pat Robertson delivered a eulogy at Camping's funeral.
It was something like that. You know, it would have been nice to get a hold of one of Camping's radio stations, though. I don't know. They ended up with some really, really, really good frequencies, and you know, the one in New York is now a country station because they're having to sell off their radio stations because.
And the country station is predicting that...
this is Nash FM in New York City. Not to be confused with Nash FM in Detroit, Nash FM in Green Bay, Nash FM in Lexington, Nash FM and so on and so on and so on.
And Great Country 94.1 in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, which may be at some point Nash FM. But hey, Mike Scott, if you're listening, how you doing? Mike's a friend of mine, the program director at Great Country 94.1. We chit-chat here and there. So, but, you know, he's from Detroit.
Shout out to Mike Scott.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Scott. He's from the Big D. He's from Detroit. So I'm like, I want to let the guy...
Don't mention the Big D with, what's his name?
Yeah, I was going to send him a thing. He said the other day he's in the Big D with the kids, and I was going to say something to him like, you're going through the Big D and you don't mean Dallas. And it would have been true. It would have been the Big D and it's Detroit. So, but that's where he's from. So I'm kind of, you know, he does a great job here with that station. But I'm kind of hoping he gets to go home. I'm hoping maybe my buddy Mike McVeigh might at Cumulus might cut him a break. Nice guy. Another nice guy I got to hear from a few weeks ago is Daryl Parks, who used to be the head of talk programming at WLW.
He actually posted an article on Facebook. You said that we are going to talk about on Monday's show, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. That. I was sharing that. I was speaking to my ex-wife and her family. I was talking to them all last night on Skype, and I got a hold of that article, and I read that from them, and they were on the floor. They were just literally on the floor. And this is one Joe may very much like too. I'm just thinking, and so we'll do that on Monday's show. Let's see what else is going on around here these days. Not much. So you had a nice Christmas. I had a nice Christmas
Monday
too.
morning, I'll be on River 103 for the morning show.
We had everything from cars to big screen TVs to microphones to headphones to coffee makers. All given to people within our home on Christmas Day. It was a very special day. Your Aunt Annie got a very nice picture from the kid's Meemaw, who is Gloria, and it had a picture of your grandma, one of the best pictures she's ever taken, just a beautiful picture of her and her smile, that one of the few that your Aunt Amy had left, but she wanted to make sure Annie had it, which I thought was so sweet. And it's got like a little poem and then just this beautiful picture of my mom. And my mom's been gone 22 years. Your grandma, she's been gone 22 years. And an amazing, very amazing woman. And so when you hear me get on these rants, though, you can blame her. Because she was the most religious liberal I ever met in my life. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but her thinking was, that's where I kind of get my thinking from. You know, my open-mindedness, my... You know, I tend to be a little more in the middle than your mom. I mean, she was like your grandma. I mean, she was a supporter of like Harvey Milk, and if you don't know who he is, he was a former mayor in San Francisco who was gay. That I don't know if he was a candidate or an actual. I think he was a candidate. Actually, got shot and killed, and so she was the most religious liberal person I think I have ever known in my life, honestly. And
I love her to death because she had the guts to kick Marge Schott out of the cemetery.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, we give her major props for that. And hey, what? Hey is for horses. That's what I tell the kids all the time, Marge.
Well,
what?
I don't know.
Well, no, you can't have a well of scotch. It's too early in the morning. Whenever she says well, she's usually about to say, "Can I get a well of scotch?" Which means she wants us to go out and pour buckets of scotch in the pool out back, and then she just takes your cups up, drinks them, and then
anyway.
But anyway, so I had a nice Christmas. Julie Legs, who is our imaging girl here at the Gizmo stations, she got me this beautiful new microphone.
Hopefully soon to be actually on air person.
Yeah. She's terrific. She got me this new microphone. It's called a Blue.
I saw the picture on Facebook. Yeah, it looks like something that Rover would get you for Christmas.
Yeah, well, it does. It looks very high tech, but it's kind of vintage looking at the same time. But it's called a Blue, and it's a big giant ball. but it's called a snowball. But I've had everybody say to me, "Ha
ha
ha
ha!" A blue ball.
Well, it says blue on it. It's blue. Blue is the brand, but it's like a ball. And so I've been getting 10 tons of grief over that one. Like,
so you officially have blue balls in your house?
No, I have one blue ball in my house.
Exactly.
Anyway, well, never mind. Let's not get on that topic. And then your Aunt Annie and Uncle Mike. This was my last Christmas ever. It's kind of been a running joke. But this is my last year here with the kids because I'm going to be moving in early June to my own place. And I've been helping my sister with her kids for a number of years. And I'm just very attached to them. So I was kind of sad. But then they informed me that I'm still going to have to be here every Christmas anyway. So I was like, oh, wow, there goes my, what am I going to complain about? And it's just kind of sentimental. But it was, and then Marvin... My brother-in-law Marvin, his dad died, and this year, and they were from the Philippines, and his dad was a doctor in the Philippines. Came to the States, practiced medicine for a good long while.
Dr. Torres.
Yeah, probably 30 years. Then moved back to the Philippines, and he passed away from cancer this year. So Annie and Michael just needed another car. They've only had, they have one vehicle. It's an SUV. They've got 3 kids, and they needed another car. Well, Marvin's dad had bought him this Toyota Corolla years ago. Not too many, I guess probably 10 years ago maybe or so, maybe a little more than that. Mm-hmm. And he gave it to Annie and Mike as a Christmas gift, which was so sweet. So we honored his dad. We honored my mom through various gifts. And then I got some great new headphones. They're like $150 headphones that my sister Annie and Mike got me since it's my last Christmas. Julie got me the microphone. And they got me this new Brewmaster coffee maker because I'm infamous in this house for frying coffee pots. It wasn't just at your house. When I lived with you and your dad, it's at the new house. So this one, it makes like 10 cups of coffee, but you had to put the cup underneath the thing, and it's kind of like a Coke dispenser type thing. And you stick. Anyway, I love it. It keeps the coffee really, really, really fresh. And and I got the sweater, and I got a shirt, nice shirt from my nephews in Oklahoma.
If it's really fresh, I think I'm just going to, if somebody complains about our coffee not being fresh at UDS, I'll just send them over to you. So
no, that's perfectly okay. I think I'll be okay. Anyway, we're doing.
Is real quick before we go to break. As soon as I make the coffee, somebody will come in. The coffee fresh. Yes, it's fresh. They go over and they pour the coffees and they pour it out. They think it's not fresh and they just leave. So.
Nuh-uh. Has that actually happened?
A couple times. Once with me, like I maybe made it a few minutes ago. It was still fresh.
Yeah.
And a guy came in wanting to know if the coffee was fresh, and then he didn't think it was fresh enough for him, so he poured it out and left. So.
Wow, that's funny. That could only happen to you, Taylor.
It could only happen at UDS.
Yeah. Anyway, it is the Sunday morning Soapbox Talk. We'll have more for you here in just a moment. Stay close.
WGMV Cincinnati, the Gizmo Radio Station. We've been planning, and you've been waiting. It's time for a brand new radio station, custom designed with two in mind. Finally, a radio station she and he can agree on. True music variety that sounds just like
I came up with a radio station custom designed with 2 in mind. I gotta get on there today. I gotta do it.
Only wanna be with you.
I gotta do a River 103 show. I didn't even do the house party last night. I was like, God, it's so freaking late. And then my phone rang off the hook all day yesterday. Like every time I try to go do something would happen. You mean Monday? Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Finally, the wait is over. This is the new River 103, true music variety of soft rock and roll favorites both of you can agree on. Turn it up. This is the new River 103. This is America's best music from today and the 2K.
And I pray someday that you
and today.
I gotta fix that promo.
Sun kiss shining, back road flying, singing like crazy. No place to go, all we needed was a radio.
This is the only
that every week has been so
Yeah, I saw,
Playing everything
I
that
saw
makes
that.
you move. This is the new Jams 102. Get on your soapbox and tell us what you think. This is the Soapbox Talk Channel 104.
You know what? We talked through the break again. I kept the mic on. Excuse me. What the heck happened? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so it's Soapbox Talk, the Sunday morning we gonna mess up again edition. Taylor, Rich on the radio, and today we're talking about the biggest stories of 2013. God, are we already here? We're already at 2014. My days are numbered, man. So let's first. I just kind of want to cover maybe some pop culture type things this morning, Taylor. So we can get the whole Miley Cyrus. I twerked on national TV, and then had a big giant cat behind me on TV, and then
get that out of the way before we move on to Jody Arias.
Before we move on to all the fun stuff, so to speak, we'll do that. But so anyway, I would have to say that Miley's twerking on TV is probably the biggest story so far of social media wise of the year. That and the big giant cat.
Yeah, her pussy on national TV.
Oh, there you go again. Yes, that was the biggest. That cat scared me. I like cats. I did not like that cat at all.
I just thought it was so ridiculous. When I first saw it, I was laughing.
Yeah, I know. Let me see here. I'm trying to pull up what we had said. But of course, they're not up anymore. Somebody took them down. The top 10 stories of the year. It's got to be on here. We have the top 10 tech fails of 2013. We'll talk about that. We already know one. We know what the big one is there. But anyway, okay. So pop culture wise, I think the biggest story of the year was Miley Cyrus's twerking. But CNN says it's the year of Miley Cyrus. Do you believe that, Taylor?
I believe so.
You believe it?
Her and Justin Bieber probably made more headlines doing a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And now Justin Bieber is retiring, supposedly. I don't know. Maybe he's doing a whole Joaquin Phoenix thing where he's like, it's just all for this documentary or something. I don't know. But
Justin Bieber says he's going to retire. Yeah, I know. I saw that too. How old is he? 20?
19.
19. I retired at 19. Makes you just want to throw something at him, don't I mean, seriously, like, who retires at 19?
What's he going to do now? Go ahead and sign up for AARP and Social Security and start getting colonoscopies done?
Exactly. But I had seen that. That's pretty funny.
Move to Florida.
Yeah. But you have to say that the song that she did the twerking to, probably the biggest song of the year, one of them, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke.
I love that song.
I know. Taylor, like, anytime he has got to play it on our sister station, Jams 102, he's like, I can't wait to play Blurred Lines. I'm like, okay. He gets all excited about it. But yeah, so I would say Miley probably the biggest pop culture story of the year. And
of course, the death of Paul Walker, another one.
Yeah, that's another big one too. You know, I feel really bad for that guy, for him and his family, because I guess now he's in heaven. But I did see this week that they were going to go ahead and release the Fast and Furious 7, and that he will be in some of the videos, not all of the videos.
They'll have to reshoot some of it.
Yeah, they're going to have to reshoot some. Vin Diesel, I think.
Yeah, Vin Diesel in it.
Yeah, Vin Diesel's in it. So that'll be a big thing when that comes out. And, of course, this week we have Anchorman 2. That's still got to be one of the, we were talking about how the big stories happened in the last quarter of this year, but Anchorman 2 is out. I know all the local reporters and anchors went to watch it the other night here in Cincinnati. I heard they had a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you've ever worked on a news set.
Kevin Robinson getting a fist fight.
Who?
Frank Marzullo and Kevin Robinson.
I would have liked to have seen that. Kevin K-Row used to work at the Weather Channel. Now he's here in Cincinnati on Channel 5, our local NBC affiliate. But, yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Yeah, no, for sure. And then you have to say what the biggest tech fail of the year has to be Obama.
Duck.
Huh?
Did you say ducktail?
No. Obamacare. The biggest tech story of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Has to be Obamacare. That also happened the last quarter of this year, but, he extended it one day. He extended it through Christmas Eve, which was really nice. And they said they're glad he did because they got a lot more sign-ups on that day. So it kind of brought them in line with where they were.
And, of course, it led to some crazy...
They're targeting
young...
they're concerned about young people. Yeah, Ted Cruz. They're concerned about...
Hey, I heard you mention my name.
Oh, no, there he is. Take him off, too. Take him down. You know when we say take Ted Cruz down, you know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest tech problem this year. But they were going to they shut the government down because they tried to just completely end Obamacare, and then so they were against Obamacare. Then when Obamacare did finally launch. Then the reason they shut down the government is they wanted Obamacare to stop. So then once it comes online and it doesn't work, they had a field day to it, but it really kind of made them look a little more idiotic, that Congress of ours, because then all of a sudden it sounded like they weren't calling for the end. There's poor people without insurance and blah blah blah. They didn't even want it. They didn't even want Obamacare. And then suddenly, kind of like the whole Duck Dynasty thing, it's just kind of a little bit, maybe just a little bit of hypocrisy in all of it. But that's our Congress. All-time new low, I think they said 8% approves this past week of Congress. But the fact that they've redrawn congressional lines to pretty much ensure a Republican House, no matter what, whenever, can't do it the fair way. So now those guys are... They'd probably still be I said that right from the get-go. Republicans ain't going out. The House is going to continue to be a Republican stronghold. That's just bank on it because the way they withdrew
we'll probably have a Democratic House.
Well, the thing is they've just redrawn the districts based on the census, and once they do that, what they've done. I saw something the other day where there was a congressman who had had his district redrawn, and I will tell you this much: it was in Chicago. And so he basically made his district the north part of Chicago, which is a conservative area, and not South Chicago, but south of Chicago, split right in the middle by the city of Chicago, which tends to have African Americans, and so they don't want that vote. So he literally...
So basically the 28%, or...
Yeah, I mean, he basically made it so that
whatever the percentage was.
So he would win, even if it usually you would think those districts run together, would be covered by a splotch of land, but there are many cases where that's not true now. You can have a district and your district could stop, and then 110 miles later, you're once again part of that district because they try to get those Republican voters. And they've done very well at it, and the whole suppressed voter... That's another big story, is this big thing with the way they suppressed IDs. If you don't have an ID, you can't vote, which I understand. I kind of get that. But there are poor people out there. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to limit who can vote. And, it's disturbing at best. But Obamacare was a big mess. I can't give Obama any props for that one. But... Congress didn't help the situation none. I think
all I can say is I know we're not supposed to pick sides when it comes to presidential races, but I'm just going to say it because I know that when the whole election happens on the show, we're both going to be going in a battle between our favorites. But I fully support White House in 2016.
I do like Chris Christie. I may not say that I would not vote for Chris Christie. I like him a lot. I think he's a very good governor, and I love the way that he just speaks out on some of these issues. He's
sort of America. He kind of reminds me of America's Rob Ford minus the cocaine use.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that I would compare those two. But there are, it's just kind of crazy. But that's what they do with all that. But yes, Ted Cruz, had fun filibustering that thing, but anyway, so he'll get reelected because he's redrawn his political lines and so on and so on. So, any other big pop culture? I like that. Do you remember the Beyonce just last week? She released her album online with nobody knowing it was coming out. That was a pretty big story too.
On the charts.
Number one instantly. Any shock there?
Wasn't it called Queen Bee?
No, I think it's something Beyonce or something. I don't think it's called Queen Bee. I'll have to look it up.
Oh wait, Beyonce Carter, maybe?
No, that would be her last name. But
I don't know.
But what did they name their child? They had a child this year. I'm trying to think of what they named him.
Blue Ivy.
Blue Ivy. That was it.
Last year.
Oh, was it last year? I thought it was this year. So now we have Blue Ivy and Northwest.
Yeah.
Who would have thought of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. So anyway, so that is some of the top pop culture stories: Obamacare, the Miley twerking incident, and Rob Ford, and a whole lot more. We have more Soapbox Talk.
Still to come.
Go ahead.
Boston bombing, Jodi Arias, George Zimmerman, the Cleveland kidnapper, and more.
It's all on the year-end review of the Soapbox Talk channel. Stay close.
And you've been waiting. It's time for a brand new radio station custom designed with two in mind. Finally, a radio station she and he can agree on. True music variety that sounds just like this.
Only wanna be with you.
Finally, the wait is over. This is the new River 103, true music variety of soft rock and roll favorites both of you can agree on. Turn it up. This is the new River 103.
This is America's best music from today and the 2K.
And mine. And I pray someday that you
And today.
sun-kissed shining, back road flying, singing like crazy. No place to go, all we hear on the radio.
This is the all-new Buzz playing everything that makes you move. This is the new Jams 102. Playing everything that makes you move. This is the new Jams 102.
Get on your soapbox and tell us what you think. This is the Soapbox Talk Channel 104.
It is Soapbox Talk Sunday morning edition. I am Uncle Rich along with Taylor. Hope you are having a great Sunday. The Bengals play later today. Who day? The Bengals are on later today, taking on Baltimore. That ought to be a good game. So, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other big stories of the year that are not related to pop culture. Let's talk about crime in America.
Probably the saddest story.
AKA George Zimmerman and Jodi Arias.
Yes.
Definitely two of the biggest legal issues of the year. And then, of course, we also had the Supreme Court ruling.
They should both be killed.
Oh, how did you get a hold of Nancy this early in the morning? I thought you slept in, Nancy.
I heard you were doing a new radio show.
Well, yeah, it's called Soapbox Talk.
I talked to Snake. He's letting me do a show on the radio called The Waterboard with Nancy Grace.
The waterboard with Nancy Grace. Nancy. Now, what do you think about the whole George Zimmerman debacle, where he's been arrested twice, or no? I think he's arrested once.
I told him.
Yeah, you told him that something was going to happen again. I know that. But so, any ideas about what they should still? Jodi Arias hasn't even been sentenced yet. What do you say about that? Besides the waterboard, what else?
Well, I think that George Zimmerman, he should be beheaded.
Beheaded? Isn't that a little bit of a stretch there? I guess you want him to do it in the town square too, right?
Yes, I do. No, do it in that housing project where he murdered that kid.
Yeah, really, yeah. Now, that would probably be a good idea. Now, what's going to happen if you ever get a divorce, Nancy? That's what I was thinking about. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to your husband?
Well, I'll go ahead and just marry my celebrity crush.
And who would that be?
Rod Ford.
Really? That's your celebrity crush?
Him and then Channing Tatum.
Now, what Channing Tatum? You like Channing Tatum too? Now, Nancy, I have one more.
And Travis Alexander.
Travis Alexander is dead. I'm sorry to say.
That's not what Charles told me.
Well, just because Charles communicates with the dead. I have never heard that.
Get her off the line.
Anyway,
we need to continue.
I was going to ask her what kind of punishment her husband would get for leaving her.
Oh, he'd be castrated, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Grace on the Big Show. So, George Zimmerman, what a joke. Huh? I did it again. On Soapbox Talk. Thanks for pointing that out, Taylor. I still get... I know the other stations, I don't get them confused. I don't go like Jams 102 or River 103. I only seem to do this with Buzz Country. Probably because I've said it more, but anyway.
It's Buzz 101 now.
Yeah, now it's Buzz. just keep pointing it out there, Taylor. Oh my goodness. So Jodi Arias, and she is to be resentenced. I'm not sure. This has been put off for a long time.
It'll happen soon.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
Yeah, and the sheriff of Maricopa County is trying to drive her crazy with Christmas music. He's been playing Christmas music.
Seriously?
Yeah, in the whole jail all through the Christmas season. Then a couple days before Christmas, he cut it back to 4 hours a day. But he does it to drive the inmates crazy. And believe me, I don't think you want to drive Jodi Arias crazy. I'm just saying.
No, you don't.
Might not be a good idea. What would you say was the biggest story, Zimmerman or Jodi Arias, Taylor?
They were both pretty big, but I think the one that had the best outcome was Arias.
Because she was found guilty.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole Zimmerman thing, I didn't think they proved beyond reasonable doubt for second-degree murder or even first-degree murder, which I don't even think that was on the table. But I think they should have been involuntary manslaughter, something, because the guy has been a hot train wreck since he got out of jail. Every time they pull him over, he's got guns in his car. Now, you would think if you shot a 14-year-old kid that your brain would say, don't carry guns.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This guy is just beyond weird. But yeah, apparently he had a domestic violence thing with his wife. Then he had one with his ex-girlfriend, or I guess now she's his girlfriend again. That's a pretty big sign when two people say, oh, well, he used domestic violence. And then they retract it. These women retract it, which is not uncommon in domestic violence
because
cases.
He has guns.
Oh, my goodness. That's a good point, Nancy, because he has guns.
I'm Taylor.
Oh, I thought you sounded like Nancy there. Take Nancy off, too, Joe. My pleasure.
That was me.
Oh, okay. But I thought it was Nancy, sorry. But anyway, and then Jodi Arias, that's a big joke. And then George Zimmerman run around with guns.
She was, lying the entire trial. You knew she was guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't heard from Tot Mom in a while. I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, yeah, Casey Anthony.
Yeah, we haven't heard from her in a while. She hasn't done any... Look, if Casey Anthony gets out of prison for a year or however long it's been, 8 months, and doesn't do anything, that might be a message to George Zimmerman. I'm just saying. Not that you want to connect the two, but we've heard, and at first they said, they were worried about her safety, which I can understand. Mm-hmm. But this Zimmerman guy is so brazen that he doesn't even... He just doesn't care. I mean, he just carries...
Yeah, I'm just going to say, he's innocent. I'm not going to judge Casey Anthony. I hope that she's enjoying herself right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, do I think she was guilty? Yeah, but I also believe in our legal justice system. But boy, you talk about outrage. People in this country were furious.
I know.
furious, and the shock on my face was crazy.
Yeah.
When I heard that.
I still think her grandparents had something to do with it.
You do?
Or her parents.
I don't. Maybe the dad, but not the mom. The mom was just too concerned about that child. She's the one that called police when she found out she was missing. So I really do not blame the mom. But I think the dad may very well. He clearly had some sort of motive, it sounded like to me. And based on what she had testified about him, you know, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true. I'm just saying if that was the situation, not that I don't want people to think I'm advocating for Casey Anthony, but her dad was a regular nut job.
There's more to the story.
Yes, there is. So let's see. Is that it for? Let's see. What else we need to talk about, Taylor?
And the Cleveland kidnapper.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's the Law and Justice. How about that one? The girls were released, and you got to give it to them because they're speaking out on domestic violence and sexual abuse and all kinds of stuff.
The strongest women ever.
Yeah, I just don't know how they were able, with everything that happened to them, I don't know how they were able to, do so well or do as well as they're doing. And got to pray for them, got to wish them luck. And then the Castro, what's his name, Juan Castro, was that his name? Ariel Castro?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I got that one wrong, too. Geez, I'm batting 1,000. Anyway, he ended up killing himself in his, or so they claim. Now, I don't know. That does sound very suspicious to me, just the way that it happened. But they were like, the man was, there's apparently this game where people choke each other, when they're having sex, or they call it, I forget what they call it, something, eroticism. Well, his pants were down, so I'm pretty sure that if you're going to hang yourself, you ain't going to be worried about your pants being down. So I still think that that's I don't know. I just don't know whether or not he did it or they did it. But nonetheless, the man escaped. I mean, what a coward. You're going to take your own life, but you already robbed 4 women of their lives, and you had I think they said he had a couple children with the girls. I know of at least one, though. So that's just crazy. Yeah.
Well, one, but the rest were he beat the baby to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so he got murdered.
I guess you could say that because he was in the womb.
Yeah, that was the fastest confession to a crime. I think within 3 weeks he was convicted. He just pled guilty. Like, the man had but what were they going to, I mean, I guess death would have been an option, Maybe could have been an option because they do still have the death penalty in Ohio. But, that was absolutely another crazy story from this year. Anyway, any other tech news, anything else to discuss? We're going to come back and we're going to talk about school shootings and things like that. What else are we going to talk about, Taylor?
The Boston bombing.
The Boston bombing.
Probably the biggest news story of the year.
Yes. But it almost got one-upped by the Harvard, we're not going to take our exams, we're going to send somebody an email and make a thread story, too. Remember that?
What?
Did you hear about that a few weeks ago?
I guess I will soon.
Harvard University, which is where George Bush went to college, by the way. So there were all kinds of George W. Bush tweets, but they basically had to shut down the entire campus after the bombings in Boston. They're in Boston, but they had this crazy gunman running around. I mean, I feel sorry for the people of Boston right now. I really do. It's too much. Anyway, it is the Sunday morning soapbox. We will be back with more in just a moment. Stay close.
We've been planning, and you've been waiting. It's time for a brand new radio station, custom designed with 2 in mind. Finally, a radio station she and he can agree on. True music variety that sounds just like this.
Only wanna be with you. Tonight, we are young. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the
Finally, the wait is over. This is the new River 103. This is a true music variety of soft rock and roll favorites.
America's
both of
music
you can
from
agree
today
on.
and
Turn
the
it up.
UK.
This is the new River 103.
And I pray someday that you
And today.
sun kiss shining, back road flying, singing like crazy. No place to go, all we hear was the radio.
This is the all-new Buzz 101. Playing everything that makes you move. This is the new Jams 102.
Get on your soapbox and tell us what you think. This is the Soapbox Talk Channel 104.
The new Buzz 101 is the Sunday edition of Soapbox Talk. I am Uncle Rich along with Taylor. Who's on line one? I'm sorry, you were disconnected.
This is Buzz 101.
Oh, did I say it again?
Hello?
Hello, I'm here. So I said Buzz 101 again, huh?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, at least it's getting some promotion. It's the Soapbox Talk Channel 104. And so in our last 15 minutes, with the Boston bombings was definitely one of the bigger stories of the year. And
It claimed the lives of 4 people throughout the entire thing.
a police
And
officer...
led to probably the most televised manhunt in TV history.
That was just freaky scary. It really was. I mean, you know, you didn't know if that man was going to come out with guns drawn, and he ended up being in the back of a boat.
Babalu got close. He said submarine.
I know. Isn't that weird? Yeah, he thought he was somewhere in like the Atlantic Ocean somewhere, and that's how he was.
Yeah, but this is one of these events that you'll remember where you were when all this happened, with both the bombing and the manhunt. I remember we were about to start recording for the Big 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 show.
Yeah.
And you told me that there'd be no show today because there had been a bombing in Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to... I wanted people to be able to watch and catch what was going on, so my thought process was, you know, let them do that. We certainly couldn't provide that kind of coverage for an extended period of time. But this guy, the guy that they caught, now they're trying to say that, you know, that the younger one has schizophrenia or something, that there's some sort of mental health issue. So that doesn't look good. Apparently they say he was bullied by his own brother. So none of it fares very well for that kid. But what a sad day in America. And then for the Boston Red Sox to win the World Series after all that. I mean, people in Boston are diehard sports fans, but you know, still, I don't know. But
yeah, but let's move forward to the manhunt.
Okay, the manhunt.
I remember I was asleep, and then all of a sudden the radio woke me up at about in the morning, and I heard on the radio that there had been a shooting at campus there.
Yeah,
at MIT.
It wasn't
And
Harvard.
I wake up in the morning, and there is a manhunt.
Yeah.
And they completely locked down Watertown, I think was the name of the area.
Yeah, something like that.
And
But
I
yeah,
actually had to be at work that morning.
Yeah, it's always rough when something like that happens.
That day.
Yeah, it's always sad when something like that happens and you have to work. You know what I mean? You don't get to keep up with it. But the one guy.
Yeah, but I left work about the time they were interviewing his uncle. Remember the uncle that like called them losers and everything and told them to surrender?
Yeah. Well, one of those was a
So
lawyer.
I
One
left
of his
around
uncles.
that time.
Yeah.
And I got off work at about 5 o'clock. And I got in the car. It turns out nothing else had happened between 12 and 5 o'clock.
Right. And then suddenly, boom.
And they told everybody they could go ahead, move about, come out of their house, and then by the time I walked in the door, a few seconds later, something happened, and they put the city on lockdown again.
Yeah.
And I remember me and you were just sitting there watching the entire time.
Yeah, I think the thing too is that there are maybe some other people out there that tried to help these guys. You know, that's kind of scary. But how did they get access to all this stuff? Really, You know, and but the brother got shot. The other brother lived. They found him in a boat, but it was one of the most. You talk about must-see TV.
It was like an action movie.
It was what?
Like an action movie.
Yeah, like an action movie. It was crazy. I mean, you'd see cars fly. I mean, the whole city was on lockdown. And then I was talking about the Harvard case. You know, now there are so many red flags that pop up, and so Harvard was on lockdown just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
and so they're very scared when something like that happens in that area, and you can't say that you blame them, but it turned out to be a hoax. And I don't know who the student was, but he's pretty stupid because he sent an email as a bomb threat. In case you did not know, computers are easily traced, and they will find you, and they will arrest you. Dumbass.
Or they'll just look at the email it came from and figure out who it is.
Yeah. I had all kinds of George Bush zingers that day. Junior Bush, because he went to Harvard, and he wasn't exactly the brightest thing. He wasn't an exemplary student or anything. So
yeah.
But anyway, and
he
so
wasn't the smartest president either. So.
I'm sorry.
And Jeb could be running for president in 2016.
Yeah,
so.
and then who's the one that is on Access Hollywood? Billy Bush. No, Billy Bush. His brother.
Billy Bush is related to the Bushes?
Yes. it's George Jr.'s brother's son is Billy Bush.
Oh.
Yeah, but his brother is running for some sort of congressional district, but he's a Tea Party. He's a tea bagger, so, you know, he'll get elected.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Don't say that around Joe.
He'll get elected. I would prefer if you didn't say things like that around Joe. Okay, Joe, you got it. So, anything else that we can think of that were big stories of the year? I had everything in my phone and I lost it.
Earlier in the year, there was the... in Alabama, the guy that kidnapped the 5-year-old boy off the bus held him in an underground bunker.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
For an entire week. And this was, of course, after the whole Sandy Hook thing happened.
Right, and there were a number of schools. You know how many school shootings we've had this past year after Sandy Hook in the United States? Do you know how many?
A lot. I remember you said it a couple weeks ago.
25.
Yeah,
25 school shootings, and people want people to keep guns. I have no problem with somebody keeping guns if they're going to lock them up and do the right thing. But the problem is they always fall into the wrong person's hands. You know,
right.
It's like teachers and carrying weapons at school. I am very opposed to that because all it takes is one rogue student to get on. There I go. I'm doing my Sarah Palin rogue. But all it takes is for one of them to steal a gun off a teacher or whatever. To me, it's just a very dangerous situation. I would not advocate that. I think there are other ways you can protect your school than guns, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that 25 school shootings since then. And you know what's really sad is that I think we as American people have become sort of desensitized to these type of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a school shooting and they don't even show it. A friend of mine lives in Georgia. I think we talked about this before, but I'll bring it up again. A friend of mine lives in Savannah, Georgia. They had some sort of school shooting or something down there. And Savannah, the whole town was like on lockdown, and I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, I know Savannah's not a very big city, but by the same token, you know, they didn't cover it. The press didn't cover it. So I don't understand why they will cover certain school shootings but not other ones, and I think it has a lot to do with the desensitization of America. We've heard this thing so many times. We've seen this so many times that we've almost just become inevitable in that we think it might happen again. But people, you know, in the NRA, you know, I actually used to respect the NRA. I don't anymore. You know, I sure don't anymore. I don't know what's happened to them, but they've done a 360 in terms of promoting gun safety and things like that. So it's just crazy. Crazy. You know, and then you hear everybody screaming about their rights to carry guns. Well, that's true. You do have that, but the government also has the right to. Here I go again. Has the right to make sure that guns get in the right hands. So it's a scary situation. It's just scary. I was asking the kids last week after the whole incident in Littleton, Colorado. I specifically asked them if they had been trained what to do should a gunman get in the school, and they both knew. And that's sad. You turn off the lights, you get under the desk, you go as far from the window as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's to a point where we're terrifying our students. You know, could you imagine what a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid would go through if we think there's a gunman in the school, so we want you to...
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what has happened to our country? That's ultimately what I want to know, because something clearly has happened, you know. We just
if anybody can let us know, let us know.
Let us know, yeah, because, you know, I don't want to blame it on Congress, but I kind of do, because they could be doing something about gun control, and they're just not. And when I say gun control, I don't mean taking a shotgun out and going hunting for deer or stuff like that. But when kids get a hold of these guns, it's any person who's mentally unstable, you know, same situation, or criminals. I don't get it.
Like George Zimmerman.
Like George Zimmerman, yeah. Come right back around, exactly, just like George Zimmerman, and. So, I don't know. It's a sad state that we're in these days. And I don't know if the Duck Dynasty thing was actually one of the big stories of the year. But, again, I don't know. He's reinstated, in case you haven't heard. They're going to redo the show. But like I said earlier, you know, look for other people to actually boycott A&E. So, anything else you want to talk about on the year-end review? We got about 4 minutes.
Just make sure everybody tune in this week. Tomorrow morning I have the River 103 morning show.
Yep.
Tuesday morning another River 103 morning show. And then New Year's Eve that afternoon I'm doing a very special Top 40 countdown on Buzz 101.
Yep.
Biggest country songs of the year. You will not want to miss it.
Done
one?
Only the way Taylor can do it. So that'll be good.
Number 41 is Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker.
Oh, be quiet. I just don't like that song.
Either that or Boys Round Here.
Yeah. I like that. No, that's okay. That's a good one.
Our station theme song.
Yeah. The first time we heard that song, we're like, what? What? Remember that?
This is the best song ever!
Yeah, it was hilarious. So anyway, a couple of reminders this week. Taylor and I will both be spending some time on River 103. We'll have the big show almost every afternoon. And then on New Year's Eve, we're celebrating a special Jams 102, Jamming New Year's Eve. And I get to go to Swainer's house. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Okay.
Chris will be live from another location.
I'm going to go down in my bunker and get my camos out. It's going to be fun. You do not want to miss that show.
I will be live from the Park House.
Yeah, you'll be calling in, and so it's going to be a great show. New Year's Eve on Jams 102. And listen, what a great response we've had to the new River 103. Seriously, probably our biggest.
Getting close to 100 listeners.
Yeah, probably our biggest listened to format launch ever. And and Taylor's program director over there, he's doing a great job. And it kills me because you're what, 23, 24? Not to give you your age away.
23.
But you have such an eclectic taste in music. I mean, although you can go to the 60s and know what a song is. I mean, it was a perfect fit. And so we're happy to be
soon for Big Band 105.
Yeah, Big Band 105 and Kim Jong-un Radio, channel 107. Or how about Nancy Radio, number 8?
I'll do it.
Yeah, I figured as much. And we can't leave out Marge. No, wait, we can. Yeah, we can leave Marge out, right? Marge.
Hey.
What?
Kiss my cigarette stained ass.
Really, Marge? That's just, oh God, the image in my head. Wait till you see my tattoo. Well, why don't you just show it to me now? I'm gonna hold off. I want all the country folk to hear it and see it. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's a perfect advertisement. Oh, okay. We'll leave it at that, Joe. Anyway, that is Soapbox Talk for Sunday morning. You have a great weekend, everybody. I'm gonna go watch the Bengals play here in just a bit. Go Bengals, Hooday! And
yes,
Taylor.
Wait, the game's today?
It's Sunday.
Is the playoff game?
No, the playoff game would be next week. But if they win today and New England loses, then we're the second seed. We won't have to play a game in our first week.
Oh, so we're playing for the first round bye.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, we're playing for one of the two. Yeah. I think there's two. Yeah, there's two of them. They get a bye week, and then anybody below 2. So right now we're number 3. And so if New England loses today, Buffalo wins, and then there was one, and then Buffalo gave it to us last week too.
Yeah.
They handed Baltimore a loss, and Buffalo's not a very good team. Sorry, my friends in Buffalo, but it's just not a very good team. And so we'll wait and see.
Sorry for our friends in Pittsburgh, but the Steelers suck.
The only thing that kills me or scares me is that the Bengals have won every game at home this season. I can't remember the last time that happened, and I'm just wondering if it could just, backfire on them. I hope they win, by the way. But you know what I'm saying. They've won all their games, so it's kind of time that they're due to lose, and that scares me. And Baltimore's not a bad team. They're not a great team, but they're not a bad team. So we will see. Didn't they beat us earlier in the season? They did.
I think so.
Yeah. I think Schittsburg and... what did I just say? Pittsburgh and... Pittsburgh and Baltimore still in the running, so it's going to be an interesting day. Anyway, thanks for joining us for Soapbox Talk. I'll see you later today on the River 103. Also, I'll be on Jams 102 tonight. Make sure you tune in. Have a great Sunday morning, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.